That was painful.
Okay. Just waiting for this to record. And it's not recording.
If you guys can't get it to record, maybe we could just take some like key notes that you guys discuss and just put them out to the public.
You
Can't
muted,
hear you,
Dale. There you
bro.
go.
You're on mute. Dale, you are on mute. You are on mute. We can't hear you.
You're muted, big man.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, now we can.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, welcome to our AMA. This is I'm Dale. I'm the founder, and this is Carl, our blockchain architect. For those of you that are just joining us for the first time, welcome. We are very excited to have this AMA today. We wanted to have a post-launch AMA and discuss a little bit more about the future of Unimoon and open the floor up for some questions. Yeah, so this is really our first AMA since we've launched. We had a very successful launch for those of you that weren't a part of the pre-sales. For those of you that are just joining Unimoon, we are still actively advertising on BSC Scan, CMC, CoinGecko, and we're actively bringing in a lot of new people as well. So yeah, we're very excited to continue developing Unimoon. As you all know, we are developing our own social media application and our own layer 1 blockchain, which is a fork of Solana. Hey, Carl, are you frozen?
I don't think so.
Are you guys
Am
able
I?
to see?
We can see him.
Yeah, we can
Okay.
see it.
Okay, for me, he's frozen over here. Okay. Anyway, we are currently in development. We will be developing our social media application, Unimoon. Unimoon will be built on top of our layer 1 blockchain, Unimoon. And this is around 3 to 4 months of development for us to release our MVP, which is our minimum viable product. And so we will be continuing marketing. But as you guys know, this is a long-term project. So we are looking to have marketing. We will continue having advertising regularly. However, we won't be spending all of our marketing budget, in the first week. We are looking to strategize and have the right amount of spending so that we can have the longevity, especially while we're closer to delivering our products. We have, as you guys all know, we are currently on the main listing portfolios. We are now on CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, listing with FTX, which Coinbase also pulls data off of FTX, so we're available on that as well. We've set up a promotion with Dex Tools. This will be available in December. And as you guys know, we are also continuing to develop. We're continuing to develop the list right now with all those people that missed out on or had to pay for the taxes when they were claiming on Banker Doge. So we're finalizing this list in the next few days, and then we will be airdropping those of you that had to pay taxes while you were claiming from Banker Doge. So we've compiled the final list. Now we're just going and finalizing the actual differences with the tax that you had to pay when you were claiming those fees. So we will be sending those out via airdrop in the next few days. So yeah, so now, yeah, maybe we can open up the floor a little bit, have some questions for those of you that are curious about the project or have some questions about development. Well, we can open up the floor.
Can I ask something? Hello, Dale.
Yeah, hey, go ahead.
I want to know what are the future updates of the Unimoon ecosystem. What we are going to expect.
Can
For
you say that
example,
again?
we're gonna have the social media, and we're gonna have a blockchain. What
Yeah.
future things you plan to do?
What other things do we plan to do?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, right now our main focus is developing and finishing the MVP. That itself is a lot of work, and we just want to make sure that we're able to develop this and make it highly functional without any bugs. And that itself is a lot of work. But as soon as we do develop this MVP, then we would focus on the second or third iterations and growing more of the ecosystem, allowing other applications to be built on top of the layer. But yeah, as of right now, our main focus is developing the MVP.
The blockchain will be able to buy the smart contracts. For example, we can do smart contracts on BSC and create a lot of tokens. Unimoon blockchain is going to be able to do that.
You're asking if the blockchain will be able to deploy smart contracts?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's essentially going to be a fork of Solana. So we would have smart contracts that could be deployed. But yeah, that's essentially what our blockchain would be. A blockchain is going to have programmatically designed features and functions.
Nice, awesome. And the last question, you're going to, how can I say to you? We are expecting the social media for be released in 4 months, right? Until this time to happen, you're going to release some things for new investors come here before the launch.
Are you asking if we will have we will show previews?
Yes.
Yeah. We are finishing up we're polishing some of the first few designs of the actual screens, the different displays that would be viewable and functional on Unimoon. And as soon as we've really polished the final feel and interaction with the UX, then we could share some of that.
Nice. I'm really excited. Nice project, Dale. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, may I ask Carl about the Solana fork? So we're forking from Solana, and what new you will be implementing in this fork? And will you be synchronized with Solana main repository?
No, all good questions, and I'm going to go in reverse order. So we're not going to be synchronized. With the repo, we will be synchronized. We'll likely be lagging based on our deployment cadence. But our intention, answering a couple of your other questions, is not to change fundamentally the internals of Solana, right? Because we're trying to basically create a decentralized social media network, we needed to gain some efficiencies. We don't have the luxury of 2 to 3 years or 4 years of development, the way Facebook worked, the way Twitter worked. We want to move quickly. So we made a decision. We looked at a number of chains, right? We looked at roll-up based architectures. We looked at a number of things. And we latched on to not just the technology that Solana has, but their roadmap and the ecosystem that's springing up around it. Solana's ecosystem is much more media rich at this point. The NFT space, while it's very large in the EVM ecosystem, Solana's is picking up speed quite a bit for a lot of reasons. The way the community is investing in Solana's ecosystem, the kind of the media development and the game studios that are springing up, attaching themselves to the Solana ecosystem, the developer community, a lot of things. So we will be downstream from Solana. We'll probably be a point rev or two behind, but it's going to really depend on if there's stability improvements, performance improvements, et cetera, that get released. The fact that one of our architectural design decisions that I'm putting out there is I always want us to be compatible, or at least downstream compatible from Solana's head, essentially. So I don't want us to have to invest a lot in porting over changes, et cetera. I want our team to absorb changes that the Solana core team does very quickly. So that means a lot of our customization is going to be in the SPLs, in various programs and contracts that live on Solana, and that are kind of compartmentalized off to the side. We already have a Solana repo. It's empty right now. My plan is to fork it. Was to fork it yesterday. Probably fork it today. It's going to be a one-to-one fork of Solana's repo right now. We're getting the DevOps stuff kind of squared away. The CI/CD pipeline. We've got servers deployed over in Switzerland right now. So that's where our DevNet's going to live. And again, our primary focus is not to change Solana. We want to control the DevNet and the testnet right now from an infrastructure standpoint. So it's architecturally, it's nice that one day we may be able to just forklift our stuff over to Solana. We want to control the gas costs. We want to control the infrastructure, and really get that kind of test information in our own environment, in our own infrastructure. Does that make sense?
Yep, thanks. I was just wondering if you will be able, and if you will, for example, if Solana finds some bug in the code, so you'll be tracking it and also fixing it in your repository.
Yeah, and as they issue those patches, that's why one of my design edicts is I don't want to change Solana's code, right? I don't, right? There's a great team working on Solana, evolving the code base, and making improvements, feature and functionality changes. If there's a security issue, if there's a performance issue, Solana's had some issues, right? But they're in beta, all right? They own it. They're in beta. Everybody should treat them as beta. I think you do a disservice to that project if you think it's more than beta right now. They're clearly in beta, and they hold it out as such. As we're going to be in beta also, I want to quickly walk in their footsteps as a layer one, essentially, right? Our intention is to come up with some novel architectural changes from a validator deployment cadence from how that is governed versus how Solana is currently governed. So that's where we're going to invest our energy, even post MVP. That's really what we're looking at, building out the validator mechanics, the incentive model around why should somebody be a validator. Our ultimate goal is and this is a long-range goal, this is a multi-year goal, is to have each individual user contribute to the network, to the security of the network. So, we're very big on self-sovereignty, right? And that's very difficult to do if you rely on a decentralized network where there's multiple roles, right? So if you have a validator class, right? If you look at fiefdoms just over history, if you have a validator class and you have a Luddite class, and you have these different actors in your ecosystem, it's very difficult to really portend to be self-sovereign at that point. So we're going to invest a lot of time once we get kind of the development in a good state and kind of a good cadence around our sprints, our 2-week sprints, et cetera. We're kind of wrapping up some design and test development right now. Once that gets all approved, we're going to start focusing more on what the validator mechanics are. We'll touch on these in the white paper, as far as what our ultimate goal is to secure the Unimoon L1, not just in 3 months or 4 months, but a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Carl, how big is the dev team?
I'm sorry, say again.
How big is the dev team?
It's elastic right now. So if you think FTEs right now, I'm guessing there's probably 7 right now. And that includes part-time resources, right? So most are contractors. So there's, somebody spending 25% of their time on it, another person spending 50% of their time. If you total it all up, there's probably about 7 right now, including designers. So, and it's going to be elastic, right? So, we have it split up into, we have it split up into a mobile dev team doing Kotlin and Swift for Android and iOS. We've got the L1 team that's doing basically Solana SPL development and all the DevOps related to that. And then there's the marketplace team. So we're exploring, and in the roadmap was an NFT marketplace. The idea is that this is all one ecosystem. So as you do certain activities over in the native mobile apps, right? The native mobile apps are going to be the primary consumption point in the way to interact with the network and the ecosystem. The L1 is basically the back end, right? You have your service mesh, you have your L1. That in a traditional app stack, that's the database. The ledger's the database. There's some business logic there, et cetera. That's what Solana is doing. There's going to be some complementary web services, some other microservices, et cetera. And then there's the NFT marketplace, which is going to be a web app, right? A very common modality. You look at the OpenSeas of the world, the SolarArts of the world. A lot of these NFT kind of verticals, they're web native, right? So we want people to be able to create, mint, manage provenance of NFTs and media in the mobile experience first. It's mobile first, right? However, right, the eBays of the world still get tons of traffic through their big browser property, right? So that's where the NFT marketplace comes in. And there's going to be some shared web services between the two. Obviously, they'll share SPLs and contracts as well on the back end. But those are the 3 primary teams, right? And they're collaborating together, obviously. But that's kind of where the resource allocation is.
Very good. So a few full timers, a few part timers. What about you and Dale? You guys are 100% FTEs, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't have you guys don't have day jobs. This is it for you guys. This is your sole focus.
Yes.
8 hours a day. Yes. And just to be entirely transparent, there are other things that I work on as well, but I'm bringing that experience into this project. And as the project ramps up, I'll be spending even more time with it.
Got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Some questions for Dale here.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Dale, we know the use case. We know it's amazing. Big things are going to happen, but I want to speak a little more with you about business case.
Business case?
Yeah. So there's many people out there. They come up with different coins, different tokens, and they have use cases, right? Yeah. I'm for example looking at this. This is a great idea. Anything attached to media and social media in today's world is booming. It's great, right? And if you're bringing the blockchain world into the media world, it's going to be fantastic. Now, what I want to hear from you is, okay, I know somewhat your mission, but we're going to launch this MVP. We're planning to get our market share from today's social media users, Instagram, Facebook, so on and so forth. We're going to try to capture that market share and have people to come and use your platform because they'll be able to, use it and post their content and potentially make Unimoon out of it, right?
Correct.
Now, how are we going to overcome? And I'm sure you've talked to, and when I say I want to talk to you about business case, you got Carl on your side. He's a great architect. He knows what he's talking about. You guys for sure going to put together a very, very, very good user experience platform. But how are we going to overcome the big boys? The big boys that are there today, how are they? Maybe they're going to start tokenizing what they're doing. How about if Twitter turns around tomorrow and start tokenizing themselves? Facebook, Instagram, you know?
Yeah, they absolutely could tokenize, but the very existence of Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, they are not a decentralized institution. So by the very definition, they are a centralized entity. It's the antithesis of a decentralized project. In order for this project to, the longevity of this in the long run, the main focus for us is to be able to implement a DAO, which would be a decentralized autonomous organization. And in that way, the people that the users would ultimately have the voting ability to help shape in the future ecosystem of the network. That could never be possible on a platform like Facebook. The way that the profits are, well, so in a business case, the profits of the network for specifically Unimoon, the social media application, this would be developed and generated from the advertising that would be spent as the Unimoon coin, and that would be available to distribute the actual revenue among all the users that are holding on Unimoon. So this wouldn't be possible with a centralized entity like Facebook or Twitter unless they completely, it's just not possible. They're a centralized entity. So it's completely, the business case is different. That's why we're focusing on a truly decentralized ecosystem.
So we launched, this thing takes off great. Obviously all the hodlers today, people like myself, I'm planning to come in here and not leave for a while, right? I want this thing to moon. I want it to grow. And of course, that's exactly what I thought. It's the revenue is going to come from the ads. It's all about ads. YouTube today is about ads. Instagram is about ads. Influencers run on ads, you know, and obviously we're going to take off in the beginning with influencers, right? Influencers are going to come here, but can we kind of, you know, I don't know the specifics of this MVP, but have YouTube and Instagram, Facebook is like, to me, it's out there. I think Instagram today has more users than Facebook. Facebook is just, you know, running a totally different direction, even though, you know, Instagram's owned by them. But having something like a YouTube into our decentralized system, is that something you guys look into, Carl, Dale, or?
So our main focus right now is, so Unimoon, we have been discussing this, and rather than having all these different, rather than having separate applications, we were discussing, for example, ULive, which would be more of a focus towards long form videos as a media search engine like YouTube. But it makes more sense for us to be able to develop a multifaceted application, which would all be built into Unimoon. So our main focus right now would be to develop Unimoon with short form videos and pictures. And then as we go and we're in the second iteration or third iteration of Unimoon, then we would add on more layered functionalities.
I think that's where my question comes in. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So are you guys more of like a social network or social like status type of application? Are you guys more like news and peer-to-peer, or more like image and day-to-day?
Both, I would say, right? So the one of the cool things about this project, and you know, I said it on previous AMAs, I've been looking to get into kind of a back to consumer stuff, right? Consumer, to me, consumer tech has a different vibe, right? It moves faster. It's more, you know, more onus is put on the marketing, the design, you know, aesthetics, things like that. It has a different feel. Anybody in software or tech that has done B2B stuff versus B2C would echo that, right? So Where this fits kind of in the market landscape, it's interesting. We're looking for familiar modality for users, right? So we want something that's very easy and intuitive for current tech savvy people to use, but also so intuitive that people that are not tech savvy get onboarded very frequently, right? So it's not just for status, but it could be used by somebody that's not tech savvy to read news, for example, right? You know, it just came up today in one of our earlier internal calls, is that we're looking to implement some technology that we feel has almost been forgotten by the internet, right? Stuff that's really meant to syndicate different status updates and news and information from different peer classes between individuals, right? Between organizations, et cetera. So we're looking to kind of resurface some of these tools that for one reason or another, these walled gardens and social media popped up, and you have your Facebooks, your Twitters, your, you know, IGs. What happened with Insta? It got acquired, right? What happened with WhatsApp? It got acquired. So you have these walled gardens kind of being built up, and people have their status inside the walled gardens, right? You have to, even influencers online, they're multimodal, right? So they've got X number of followers on Twitter, Y number of followers and subs on YouTube, and they've got Twitch going, all this stuff. And what we're looking to do is almost throw a grenade in all of this, right? And really, it starts with digital identity and self-sovereignty. So if we feel, from a thesis standpoint, if we give the individual the sovereign, make them sovereign, and have enough individual control over their actions, their analytics, their data, their identities, if we really give them all that control, then they can choose to get news through the app. They can consume news. They can consume or they can publish content, right? And chase cloud if they want to, right? It's really up to them, but it's really about giving them kind of that control back.
Carl.
Yeah.
In order to, now the MVP is 3 months out, right?
Yes.
Since we're going to fork Solana, right? Why don't we create the hype and say you stake your Unimoon, right? And you can get rewarded in Solana, like a multi-staking platform kind of thing.
But we don't, yeah, the challenge there is, so on the roadmap are bridges to other networks, right? So I want to bridge to Solana. We as a project want to bridge to Solana and ETH's mainnet and a couple of the other ones, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about Bitcoin so much, frankly, but maybe. I think the team has so much work to do right now, right? Because we want a great experience for our community, that the bridge and the tokenomics around it, that takes a different focus, right? And, you know, as a team, we've kind of decided there's a MVP needs to be foundational, something that survives 4 or 5 years from now, right? 5 years from now, there's still going to be a Unimoon L1. There's going to be the client mobile apps, right? And there's going to be some web app. Right now, we're starting with an NFT marketplace. It will likely evolve into other stuff, right? Even the mobile apps will evolve into other things, right? We're starting with a familiar short form video experience like TikTok, right? It's going to evolve into live streaming capabilities, etc., right? So, but we're really focused on those foundational things, staking and doing chain swaps and things like that. That introduces a ton of complexity right now, right? And when you're dealing with tokenomics, anything tokenomics related for me is ultra high priority, right? So yeah, if a token sale goes wrong, or you're doing a chain swap and it goes wrong, you still have the old ledger. You still know who the token holders are, you know, their quantities at a point in time, etc. So you still have essentially a backup, right? And you can do that activity over again. But there is so much noise that's created because there's so much urgency around tokenomics and token actions, that I would rather the team and the community focus on the foundational stuff, the stuff that we've committed to right now, because that has to be great, right? So this is very. Look, does it make sense?
Yeah, no, 100%. What you're saying is 100% right. I'm just, look, you guys started off in the BSC chain. Obviously, it's much faster. You know, BSC spits out coins like so many a day. Some of these projects are really good. Like personally, me myself, when I stumbled about Unimoon, and I looked at the white paper, and I looked at, Dale. I looked in his background. I even added him on LinkedIn. I even sent him a note. I don't know if you've seen it. I'm Sam, by the way. I'm like, why is this thing in BSC? And I've kind of made a couple of comments onto the TG too. I'm like, this thing should have started off in ETH maybe, because you see right now in the BSC space, 25% is sale. Guys, you guys don't even know the ETH gas prices, right? But the people in ETH know this. Like people like myself, I'm invested in Unimoon, and I'm invested in other coins in ETH, that I believe that are going to be long-term, like Saitama. I like the group. I like what they're doing. I like you guys. I like what you're doing. But, in BSC, it's like, I know you guys are working hard behind the scenes to get your level 1 in and migrate quickly and just burn whatever is in BSC, right? What I'm trying to come out is that in 3 months from now, things in BSC kind of like lose their hype, so you need to have like a short-term vision, and our long-term vision is going to be what we're going to be launching, right? Like Saitama, for example, they're going to do their mask. It's coming out actually in the next 2 weeks, but they started off in ETH. They built that market cap so hardcore is because they're in that space, right? Rather than the BSC space. Now there's people over here, people like myself, and I'm sure a lot of other people in this TG that are going to stick with you guys, and they're going to migrate, and they're going to go into the, your own chain when it comes out, the fork with Solana. But for short term, this goes back to what Nathan said. What is the size of your team? So currently the team is obviously working on MVP. Maybe have 2 guys on the side and come up with it. There's so many coins coming out with staking platforms these days. It's like, this is all they do. All the use cases you see today are boring. What do? Oh, you stake and you get more. Who cares? What do you got after that? Nothing. We just stake. We got our own wallet coming. Who cares? So is every other coin, So what you guys are doing is really good. But you guys can do that boring crap just to get the hype. But people know at the end of the tunnel, the light is the MVP. That's the hype.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at this point, we've already launched on BSC. One of the reasons why it's because there is a very active community, and we were able to increase our visibility in a very short time. We're already at 20,000 members in our Telegram group, and we were successfully able to raise and pre-sale and sell out both private sales and also the pre-sale on Pink Sale. So it doesn't make sense for us to move backwards. Part of the reason why we have also the reflections and the taxes is to provide some excitement for people to just hold. Essentially, it's the same thing. Staking, if we were to develop a staking platform, it would just lock the tokens for a set amount of time, and then you would get a little extra Unimoon. But essentially, just by holding, you're able to do that, just earn reflections. So it's almost the same thing. And for most of the people that were involved with the private sales and the pre-sales, I'm very much in the belief that people align with the vision and see that this is a long-term project, and that there is real development, and that there is within just roughly short period of time, 3 to 4 months, that we would be delivering an MVP. So there's no sense for us to work backwards. We're already hard at work to develop the MVP. And like Carl was mentioning earlier, making sure that we actually develop a very strong user experience. This is our main focus. If we happen to drop off because people can't wait 3 months or 4 months, then that's up to them. But we are committed and 100% dedicated to making sure that we do develop an amazing, exceptional user experience. And that's really what Carl and I have decided is lacking for the mainstream adoption. It's it's just very clunky right now. It feels like you're playing a Nintendo game. It's just old and outdated. So what we're really focusing on is making sure that anybody from any background, even age categories, are able to pick up Unimoon, and they're able to interact with this social media application that essentially is like a blockchain app, but it's just like a social media app. They don't even have a clue. They don't have an idea that it's functioning on a blockchain. That's really the main focus. That's really where all the value is for this project. That's the reason why we sold out in 3 seconds in our private sale, 20 seconds on our pre-sale with Pink Sale. It's because people are excited about a decentralized social media ecosystem. It doesn't make sense for us to try to do what everybody else is doing, because that's not what we are doing. We're focused on user experience, delivering a decentralized social media ecosystem.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Dale.
Yeah.
Hi, Dale. This is Dominic, and I just like to thank you for this wonderful project. And I think to summarize what you said, it's just we're focusing more on quality rather than quantity, and this is a long-term investment. And I'm actually the one who has posted on our most recent pinned message. And instead of creating hype as what the previous person was suggesting, maybe what we can suggest for all of the holders, and what we can ask from them who believe on this project, is to share it with their friends and family, because in time all of us will be gaining from it. And imagine with how you designed this project, that you are rewarding us with these tokens, then someday we will just be using those tokens to live in our life. So
Exactly.
thank you so much for this project.
Yeah.
I'm such a believer, and I'm sharing it every day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, like that's really the excitement around Unimoon. It's really on a philosophical level. It's a better way to measure human engagement on a social network, and to realize through an near instant feedback loop for the amount of value that you're providing in your social circles, and to potentially new social networks with the discover for you that are outside of your networks as well, to discover new content, new people, new users, new accounts. But that's essentially the focus. It would be to have a better way for people to measure your human energy that you output, and the amount of value that you're putting in the network. Because as we all know, on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, people spend a ton of time putting all this content, free content, and it just doesn't make any sense that all these central institutions such as Facebook, they take this data and they literally just they take the data and they sell it back to us, and it just doesn't make any sense when the people, it's the aggregate data of all of the people on the network that creates the value for the network. And so this way, with a decentralized ecosystem, for a decentralized social media ecosystem, this is the only reason why we could actually create something like this, leveraging the blockchain. So yeah, it's very exciting for us as well.
Yeah, thanks again. God bless you all.
Hey guys, I have 2 questions for you. The first is, what does your marketing budget look like, and what type of things are we going to be seeing over the next several months prior to launch, as far as the advertising marketing goes? And the second is there any type of privacy?
It's I think we're losing you over there.
Um, as it relates to a decentralized social media platform.
Okay. Your first question was, what does the marketing budget look like? And the second question, you were in and out, so perhaps you can ask again.
Dale, I'm
okay.
around in case you need any help with the marketing things. I'm around, but go for it, please.
Yeah. So we have brought on Harry and Blockchain Pros to continue our post-launch and our marketing. As far as our marketing budget, we have pretty much a very healthy budget at this point, but it doesn't make sense for us to spend all of this on this first week. We're a long-term project, so we want to make sure that we're able to get as much value for our marketing, especially towards the actual launch of our products. So the MVP of Unimoon and our layer 1, because that's when there will be a lot of excitement built around. And as well, we've finished the negotiations between a second agency, an advertising agency that focuses more on the mainstream advertising channels that are outside of cryptocurrency, but they have worked as well with other cryptocurrency projects. They're just not specific niche focus such as Blockchain Pros. So we've decided that we would be able to allocate budget to Blockchain Pros, which continues their focus in crypto, in BSC, while we would also be bringing on this second agency that focuses on more of the mainstream, and also while we prepare to develop, and when we're closer to launch, then we would have more marketing spent towards the excitement of the actual Unimoon application.
Hi, Dil. This is Rohit from India. I just wanted to know that this is a really good idea what Unimoon is doing, but Facebook is very well known for killing the competition by acquiring the competitors. What will be your stand if you come across something like that? If an offer comes to you,
we're there's no way to sell this, right? It's already fragmented. So I don't know, unless Facebook were to go in the market and completely buy up the entire token.
They should just buy entire tokens. That's it. I think.
Yeah,
that's impossible.
They've done it before, right? I mean, look at WhatsApp and IG, right? I mean, that's their modality, but that's a very Web 2.0.
But this is not easy now, as it is controlled, driven by community. A lot of members here, they can't do it.
Yeah, and that's the main focus. That's why we are, again, if you look at the light paper, we discuss a governance model. It most likely won't be implemented during our MVP, but within the next year, our goal would be to be able to get this out within the next year. And that would be for the decentralized autonomous organization. And again, our main goal is to have a truly decentralized project. That means that the people, the holders and the users of Unimoon would essentially be the real voters and the people that have the real power of the network. It would just be the exact inverse of the model of Facebook and Instagram, all these central entities.
Okay, noted. All the best.
Yeah, so like even with the we've mentioned this again also in the light paper, which would be elaborated on the white paper, but it's that we will have validator nodes as well. So the validator nodes also help decentralize the network and the servers and the data of the blockchain. And so this is also one way that it would be decentralized.
When will the user community be able to utilize or deploy their validator nodes?
That's TBD. During the MVP process, we're not just building, right? The kind of the three kind of teams that we've got: mobile, L1, and then NFT marketplace. It's the web app. So we're not just building that. So we're doing a lot of analysis, a lot of architecture, frankly, a lot of philosophy, right, around what we want. And you know, we watch the community too. I honestly try to not watch the TG group too much just because it moves too fast. But right. And Dale, you know, is heavily involved in it. You know, there's tons of community moderators that are doing a fantastic job. And they surface to, you know, they basically surface community thoughts, suggestions, concerns, etc. And that we do watch very closely. As far as the validator strategy, it's not just a technical implementation detail. It's not just executing it. It's what the vision is for who a validator is, right? In a true peer-to-peer world, if you have an entirely flat network, right, where there's only one peer class, then that means every user is also a validator, right? So that would mean every Bitcoin holder would also be a miner implicitly, right? That's a very foreign concept right now. That's been tried before. People have tried light wallets, there's projects out there that, you know, in the IoT space that are kind of bridging IoT and crypto that are trying to say, okay, if you contribute some resources to the network and you're ultimately consuming those resources as well, you know, you're getting rewarded for that, right? So the holy grail is where it's true peer-to-peer. It's truly flat. There's no super nodes. There's no individual validators. There's no different castes. There's no caste system. That's the holy grail. We're not starting there, and we're going to dive deep into. And we talked about, you know, maybe starting a blog or getting, you know, periodic Medium posts out, but we're going to have to dive into what it means to be a validator in Unimoon, right? You know, there's crypto projects out there that try to incentivize infrastructure providers, right? You know, and make sure that they're good actors, make sure that their capacity is available, that it's highly performant and accessible, right? And those are interesting models as well. But I think what I'd like to see, and what I think the team would like to see, is that each user, some of their activity, we're trying with a social activity coefficient and the Unimoon token, we're really trying to capture engagement of the users, right? It's going to go into their activity in the ecosystem, right? We would love to, I hate to say this, weaponize that token on behalf of the individual user, right? So that token plays a role in the DAO and the governance, possibly, right? Maybe not, right? But it allows them to provide security to the network, ultimately, right? Because we really want each individual user, their interactivity of the network and their consumption of the services contributing to the security of the network, right? It's hard enough to get people to spin up Raspberry Pis and put them under their desks to mine things, right? I think that's a novel approach. I don't think grandma and grandpa are willing to do that, right? They're just not. So I would love to, from a philosophy standpoint, from an academic standpoint, and then ultimately a commercial implementation standpoint, figure out a way, say that if yours, whether it's staking or some other modality, figure out that just liking that pimple popper video on TikTok, which it will be Unimoon, right? You're popping pimples, popping cysts, you know, looking at weird cat dances, looking at people jumping off of mountains, you know, don't do this, right? But with parachutes,
so
whatever.
continuous integration equals the growth of the ecosystem.
Not just the growth, but the security of the ecosystem. Okay. Right. So some of that action, I want to take that engagement energy and have it actually translate to validation of the ecosystem. right? I believe there's a way to do that. I don't have it all figured out. It's in my brain right now, but I truly believe that a user sitting in their application where they think they're going to do it for 5 minutes and it turns into 45 minutes, that activity, there's a way to make sure that activity contributes to the security of the network.
Right. You guys are awesome. You guys are amazing. And I think you guys are building something grand and great. So continue at it. And I believe in your vision. Thank you.
Yeah. When the buns are going to stop, like before MVP or something like that?
Again?
When the burns are going to stop, like at certain 500 trillion, something like that.
Yeah, as of right now, we haven't set a specific rate. We basically everything is just based on us migrating to the layer 1 blockchain. And at that point, then we would be looking to eliminate the taxes and be functioning on the advertising revenue and be self-sovereign as a network, as well as the individuals and the users.
I have a question to go along with that. So when we move over to the other platform, would you incorporate into the contract like just the amount that's still left of Unimoon? So would it be like, so like let's say we burned 1.5 quintillion. What was it again?
Quadrillion.
1.5 quadrillion. You'd only put a supply of 500 trillion.
Well, the way that we have it set up right now, for example, we burn team tokens, some foundation tokens. These would be pre-mined at the Genesis layer on layer 1. And so we would just have to think about this a little bit further. But everything is going to be based on utility. What would provide the most utility? One topic of discussion would be the reward system. So we would have a set reserved amount of rewards. And what we're thinking is some of the burn tokens would come back as a reward that would be set as a reward allocation for all the social activity coefficient that gets distributed and calculated within the network.
Thank you.
Yeah. But we'll take one more question and then we actually have another meeting that we need to get to.
So I just got a quick question here. So when the L1 blockchain does come out here, how exactly will the BSC token be bridged over to the blockchain? So is there going to be like, do we convert the tokens in using like Web3 contract, or is this going to be a direct bridge between the BSC token and the L3 token? So L1 token when that does get launched.
We haven't decided if we're going to airdrop them, frankly, to token holders or not yet, and spin up a new wallet. There is a bridge. There's a couple of bridge projects out there that bridge EVM to Solana, right? So we're diving into those right now and seeing how viable they are. So there's infrastructure and projects out there that bridge tokens between Solana and EVM compatible chains. So whether it's going to be self-service or whether it's something we do as an activity, that's TBD. But once the L1's live, there's not much utility for the old chain. So you can think of it as a hard fork.
No, makes perfect sense. As someone who does blockchain development himself, this is one of the biggest projects I've seen on Binance Smart Chain. That's why I topped up multiple times during the dip, right? So you guys are doing something fantastic, and this is easily going to be multi-billion-dollar project hands down. Yeah. So
it's Wormhole is one of the other projects that we're looking at. So
yeah, definitely. Perfect.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys very much. We need to.
Dale,
yeah. Go ahead.
Before you end, I just wanted to add one quick line about the marketing. I know I've got a lot of DMs, and because this is recorded, I think a lot of people might have questions related to that. So the marketing post-launch has been focused on getting a lot of new communities to understand what Unimoon does, internally, we are also talking about changing the messaging on the website to make it a bit more layman friendly. For example, a lot of people possibly don't understand the L1 blockchain, and these people can read more about that when they go to the light paper. These kind of modifications. But more importantly, the whole purpose of marketing at this point in time is, Dale and I discussed that earlier, is that we need to touch a lot of people multiple times. It's the marketing terminology of touching somebody 7 times before they can make a decision about investment. So we're doing a lot of that. At this point in time, marketing is also being correlated to big news. For example, right now in the first week, now you can add Unimoon into your wallets, into your portfolios on Coinbase and FTX, and about 10, probably about 1 dozen other websites. So the visibility is there. People are starting to wonder what Unimoon is. Yesterday, we got 4,500 unique new users to the website, and they came from every corner of the internet. We did a proper Reddit campaign yesterday. We posted a generic topic about what do you think are the most exciting new projects, and we rigged it a little bit by talking about Unimoon a lot. Tomorrow we are on Travlad, a very credible influencer in the BSC space. He's going to be talking about us tomorrow. And then following in the week, we've just started ads on, if you refresh CoinGecko enough times, you'll see our ad. And what we want to do is we want to measure everything. We want to measure exactly what impact an ad on CoinGecko has compared to what we've seen on the BSC scan space. Because BSC is obviously, everybody who is on BSC scan is already invested into BSC, whereas CoinGecko is a bit more generic. So a lot of testing is going on. Dale has given us a decent marketing budget, which is being spent in the most efficient way, in our opinion. So anything that keeps happening, we will keep you updated, and more updates on the next AMA, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Harry. So thank you everyone for joining us today. We have this recorded, so we will be posting this up on our YouTube, and we will be sure to let you guys know about the next AMA when we are available. We are hard at work on developing, expanding the community, and yeah, we're very excited to be developing this together with our community. The community you guys are the most important part of this project. So we are absolutely thrilled to have so much excitement about the future and the vision of our project. So thank you very much for all being a part of this. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Yeah, we'll end the call now. Bye.